Hello guys. Okay, so I just got back. Well, I wouldn't say I just got back. It's a little late already. I had to put my son down for bed first. But now we're here and we're gonna talk for a second because today I'm gonna share with you a very, 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 very special story. Is it a story? Testimony. How about that? To me, wow, this, I don't even know where to begin. You know what? Let's talk about when I was in 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, I lost an extremely dear friend of mine. And it took me losing her to realize just how much I cared for her, how much I liked her, how much I wanted to be closer friends. I really wanted to be closer friends. And I'll never forget, we had a sleepover together. And we ended up being the only two that were awake. And we took a bunch of pictures in silly sunglasses in our friend's bathroom so that we didn't wake them up. That was such a I'm so glad that I'll be able to remember that so vividly, the way I still do right now. I lost my granny. I lost who practically raised me growing up. I was always at her house, at my grandma's house, and it was like a whole little compound thing. I had back-to-back losses of people. I was already depressed because school was rough. I was always being made fun of for being a chunky monkey. And I lost a love interest in my life. And at that point, I was just done. And so I attempted to take my own life. And I remember blasting Pierce the Veil on my little tablet and laying on the floor in my room, just ready. Just ready. I wanted to just leave the earth. I was done. It wasn't just that, like I had, I had sexual abuse that had happened to me a few years prior. And it just weighed all of it so heavy on me. I was like 14, I think, at the time. Yeah, I was 14. And it was just too much. Death, sexual abuse, being made fun of every single day, not feeling love anywhere. I felt so unloved, unwanted, uncared for, and I was just done. So I attempted to take my life. And as I was listening to my music, waiting for the inevitable to come, I looked out my huge window, and through the shades, I saw probably 15 pairs of red eyes. And as a Catholic, I knew that that was Hell's Gates. And I got my butt up. I grabbed my skateboard and I skated myself to the ER because I was alone that night. Nobody was home. They went out to eat and I don't even remember where my brother was. But I was completely alone. So I skated myself to the ER. Like, tell me what kid is going to see a crap ton of red eyes and have the balls to actually go out into the night into the night where you just saw them red eyes from. No, that was God saying, "Don't be afraid. Just get your butt up, go to the hospital, get help." So I went, and I was met with a woman, and I told her I did something. I took a lot of pills. And she began to cry. And she asked me, "Can I pray with you?" And I said, "Yes." And so she prayed over me, and I was just very emotional. I don't remember what she said anymore, but I was too emotional. But I definitely didn't feel alone in that moment. That was beautiful. I got the help I needed, and I'd love to say things got better after that, but they did not. They, in fact, got worse. But that's okay, because if you saw my previous post, there was a reason things got worse. There was a reason I hung out with the people that I hung out with. So let's fast forward to now. We're in Oklahoma now. And I about 3 months ago, I started going to church at this amazing place called New Life Church in Hydro, Oklahoma. And man, is God working miracles in that church. Is God alive and well in that church? It's absolutely mind-boggling every day. A woman, you know what? We're not here to talk about another person. We're not here to talk about other people. I'm sorry. I'm giving you my testimony. I'm telling you a little bit about my life, I guess. I guess I'm telling a lot of people about these little moments with God just in my life. And you know what? There's something I'll never forget. And there's a reason why it's tattooed on me. And I know it's not like God and stuff, but it'll be added here actually. There's a reason why these stinking little dots are right there, because they're going to get connected and it's going to be a little cross. Because me and God have had some some moments where I would just scream at the moon because I knew I couldn't leave. I wasn't allowed to leave, you know. But I'd just scream at him, at the moon, to take me. That I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And there's one moment in particular that really sticks with me. And I was in front of, or to the side of both, of my old church and my old school. And I sat there on the curb and I screamed at the moon that night. I didn't care if the cops were called on me by the people whose houses were next door, but I just screamed at the moon. I told him all my problems. I told him, why am I still here? What are you doing with me? Because all I feel is sadness. All I feel is pain. And I'm tired. I'm 17, 16 years old, and I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally tired. we've had a lot of moments like that. But this one in particular I just really remember this one. Because, man, that night it was just a guttural, very emotional night. I will never forget that one. I have another one. There's so many. Okay. There's another one with the moon. This one's cool. This one's really cool. But we're not going to tell you that one. We're going to talk about the seizures now. Okay. So, many of you know that I was epileptic. I had seizures. They started my beginning of sophomore year. I had my first grand mal in September. Somewhere in the 20s. I think it was the 20th. Maybe the 21st. I'm not 100% certain. But I had my first grand mal that night, that day, that morning. And then I was finally believed about my seizures, because I had been saying, I think I'm having mini seizures, but you're not. I made this stuff up. Not until I'm on the floor and can't get up. But anyways. Fast forward to stepping into New Life Church, and I messaged our pastor because the devil was holding on strong. Mama Sherry had healed me. She gave me my first week seizure free. And then I started talking about it. And then about 4 hours later, I had seizures again. I had to take medication. I had to take my extra strong, emergency medication, because they weren't letting up. And I just remember saying, why is God punishing me again? Why is he taking this away from me? But, like I said, this was the very beginning of New Life. So I still had that mindset that you have from the Catholics and stuff. So I didn't realize that God doesn't do this kind of stuff to us. This isn't Jesus. This isn't God. This is the devil. This is the devil working, and he was holding on because he did not want to let go of me. And I know why. I know why now. But he was holding on strong. He was holding on tight. And he's like, I'm going to send more. And so I messaged Pastor Mark that next morning. And I told him what happened. I said about Mama Sherry. And he told me, we'll come to Wednesday night Bible study. And after everything, we'll heal you again. And I said, okay. I was already going, so that was pretty cool. So I was like, it's just meant to be. I was like, I'm already going, so perfect. And so him and Pastor Brianna, he laid hands on my head and her on my heart, and they cast out the seizures. And it has been over 2 months, November 19th, that I have been seizure free. Without medication, nothing. It's very funny because a couple months before we came out to Oklahoma, I was telling Austin, I will be getting off this medication here soon. I just know it in my heart that I'm going to get off this medication and I won't need it anymore. Praise Jesus. I'm off that medication. I don't need it anymore. Man, it's just incredible. This is 10 years. And for the first 2 of those years, I was at the mercy of my own body. And my seizures were not normal seizures. So I did not have what they call an aura, a warning alert like, hey, get down, sit down. There was no warning for me. I would just drop. I twisted and slightly sprained my ankle. I don't even know how many times because it was just a full body plop. Crazy. Insane. The miracles of Jesus. This is just the beginning. Yesterday, Pastor Mark was talking about us having healing in our body or needing healing in our bodies for things that we have been holding on to, and we're like, I've just had this for so long, so I'm used to it. I'm not gonna have it cast out and stuff. And I also have sorry, excuse me, pardon me. I also had PCOS, and I don't remember. Yeah, it was the previous year, my bad. So about 2 years ago, I actually lost a baby. Very few people know about that. I haven't talked about it online, really. I've shared, like, one post about mamas losing their babies, but I haven't personally told anybody outside of our church yesterday that I've lost a baby. So October, a couple years ago, I had a miscarriage. And it was traumatizing. And I didn't really talk about it because I was only like 5 weeks along. I had just found out the day before. And then the next morning, I woke up to blood on my pillow. And a lot of it. And immense pain. And I didn't tell anybody. And okay, that was weird. Just really loud yelling outside. Anyways, I didn't tell anybody about it. I kind of just suffered through it for a while. And then I finally called Austin at work. And I told him that I think I'm having a miscarriage. That I took a test yesterday, it was positive. And this morning, it's not positive anymore. Or, not that it's not positive anymore. It's that I am in extreme pain and now I am passing large amounts of blood. I believe it was November 23rd. It's my mom's birthday. I got like a message from God that I would have another baby. Of course, like, we don't know when, in God's time and stuff. And man, did that terrify me. And I'm just like, no, no, no. But I have faith that I've been healed from PCOS. I obviously don't know because I'd have to take like blood test and like get a scan, I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly the test that they did on me in the first place because I was so young when they told me about it. And they told me that I would be extremely lucky if I were to even be. They basically told me I wasn't going to be able to have kids, and I'd be extremely lucky if I could have kids. So, last night, I stood up and I was going to be asked to be healed from PCOS. And I started to speak in my tongues while I waited my turn. And in my head, I was telling myself, I'm already healed. I know this. But let's just seal it. And instead, Mark comes up to me. He tells me that I am already healed. And now that he is anointing me with the gift to heal others. I said in a previous written testimony how I know that there is more that I've yet to discover. Here's a fun one. About 3 weeks ago now, maybe a month, I pulled out a pizza pan from the oven, 425 degree oven. And as it was falling, I tried to catch it with my other hand that wasn't mitted, and I burned the absolute living booty nips out of it. It was so bad. It was so painful. And I immediately went to the bathroom to put some like warm water on it and calm the pain somehow, some way. And as I had my hand under the water, I remembered a story from the Bible about this special kind of water in this special town where people would come and get healed with this water. And then I said, by his stripes, I am healed. I said that probably 3-4 times. And then Austin had like this aloe vera gel situation. So I put the aloe vera gel on, and then I went outside because it was windy and cool. And I just like stuck my hand out and I let the wind cool my fingers. And while it was cooling my fingers, the pain started to disappear. Like, I don't care what y'all say. There ain't no aloe vera gel in this world that's gonna like freaking that's gonna make a burn disappear in like 12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours, y'all. Like, completely is what I mean. Like, there was no redness after I was outside for like maybe 20 minutes. Just like holding my hand out, letting the wind cool it, and it is insane. Like, it was probably a few hours later, my mother-in-law came home and I told her, I said, feel my hands. Does that feel like a burn to you? Or I said, look at my hands. You can't even tell there was a burn. And then, I told her, feel it. And you could barely feel the difference in texture from when the burn was there. And the next morning, nothing. Nothing. The texture from like the burn, you could like it was basically non-existent. And the next day, completely gone. Completely gone. So when Mark told me about the healing, it I just got goosebumps right now. Like I just got goosebumps right now. So this is why this is a video, because this is literally like, what is that, 26 minutes? 26 minutes long. There's just so much. There's just so much. And this is why, for the longest time, I had a hard time writing my testimony. Because there's just so many examples. There's so many stones that I can set on the other side of the river. You know? Sobriety. Here's another stone. Sobriety. I'm a year and a half sober from alcohol. And wait a minute, 23rd? 3 weeks. And I'm 3 weeks sober from marijuana. And I have no cravings. I have no desire to go back to that life. Man, I started drinking when I was 15. I started smoking when I was like 15, 16 maybe. Nope, 15. 10 years. 10 years of my life. 9 years of alcohol with alcohol. And the addiction was bad with the alcohol. It was pretty bad. It was really bad. I don't remember 9 years of my life. You know, like there's people that know me, but I don't know them. And for part of those years too, I was doing like Xanax and stuff, and what's the other one? Like the syrup. Lean, that's what it's called. We do lean. Bad. It was really bad. It was not a good time. And I'm grateful as heck that my son will not see that in his life from his mom. I'm grateful as heck. And I pray he will never have to feel that kind of hurt and turn to substance. No, because he's going to know God. He knows God now. But, when you're little, it isn't fully I don't know. Never mind. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. But he will deepen his love. He will understand further. He will love harder. He's not going to believe that that's possible, because I didn't believe that was possible. But he will love so, so hard. God's just going to fill his life with so much joy, so much love, so much compassion. I just know it in my heart. There is so much for us that we've yet to discover. There's so much that I'm so excited to share. So this was my half an hour testimony. Thanks for watching. I probably left out a lot of stuff still, but yeah. Thank you guys.